welcome to the Drap Brewery. Dr. Chris Baker, DC here. We just got done with our top 8 match, and I wanted to give you a deck tech of the modified version. Playing with Bug FlickerGate has led me to some conclusions that made me think it was a suboptimal build. So I used a little inspiration from a 4-color deck that I played, which was basically an Esper deck splash Ceruli Gatekeepers in the Multicolor Mayhem League that Gwynedd ran, where it had like Sanctum Gargoyle, Executioner Capsule, Courier's Capsule, Deputy of Acquittals, all the Gatekeepers, and just mono value. So what I found in Bug FlickerGate was that Ubulsar Gatekeepers here was very underwhelming. Some of the best decks weren't necessarily aggro decks, right? So Ubulsar doesn't really kill that much, and if it doesn't kill that much, it's not that great of a 4-drop. So Ubulsar needed to get cut. He is decent as a 1-0 because you can play him and then flicker him and maybe kill an X4. But just wasn't necessarily the best. I did not include white, so white brings a lot of stuff to the table. Sunspire Gatekeeper is good against aggro and good against control against 1-for-1 removal spells. So I think this Gatekeeper is actually easily the second best Gatekeeper next to Ceruli. Ceruli is just too important against any sort of aggressive deck or just helping you win the race. I even was just practicing this build against people in the regular Pauper room, and because I couldn't find anybody playing extended Pauper, right? I was just bored and wanted to try this deck out, and Ceruli just made every aggressive matchup, mono red burn matchup, just one of the easier matchups. They'd get you down to like 6 life, and then you'd play a Ceruli on turn 4, and then if you ever flickered it, it was just pretty much game. Oromancer was an interesting addition to flicker that with Archaeomancer. Seems like, a match made in heaven, so I thought, what could we do to revamp our deck? And I had been playing Deadweight. I switched to Tragic Slip. Undying Evil and Cremate were all in these spots, but I really need some way to kill early creatures or a way to make big creatures smaller. But Deadweight just had no value in the whole deck. So Oromancer is a way to get a little bit of recursion value off that. But the biggest change, and one of the best changes I think I made, was switching to Font of Fortunes, which I saw Bava, one of the Esper players, using. Sick value with Oromancer, and cutting Forbidden Alchemy is fine because the flashback for 7 mana wasn't coming up that often, and it wasn't really card advantage. It was sweet selection, but this deck is kind of mana hungry, so we'd often take a relevant spell and bin a bunch of lands, when really I'd rather just draw those lands to have more mana so that we can play more fonts and just get ahead. So I found that to be pretty useful. I cut the Ravenous Rats, wasn't really pulling its weight, and I cut the Forbidden Alchemy. I was flirting with Mist Raven. Didn't really need that. So yeah, one Victonite, was playing with 2 for a while. 4 Deadweight, cut that. So yeah, had to revamp the mana. So I have 5 white gates now: 3 Orzhov, 2 Azorius, and 4 green gates: 2 Simic and 2 Golgari. So yeah, still at 13 guild gates. 5, 6, 7, 11, yeah, still 13. And in the sideboard, I also liked a little bit more of the white cards. So the 4 Ray of Revelation have been great against Hexproof and against Curse of the Bloody Tome. I thought the 1 of Last Breath would be quite good if we ended up playing a mirror match against any sort of Archaeomancer deck. Another way to exile the creature is good. Dispel and Negate, added the Dispel in. I just liked 1 mana answers. Cremate got moved to the sideboard, so it wasn't that relevant against any other decks except like the Mirror. which I haven't really played against. Curses against other slow control decks, Shrivel against token based decks, Victim Knight against other aggro decks, and Crypt Incursion against, I don't know. Anytime we need to gain life or interact with the graveyard, kind of the mirror. So I kind of think my sideboard is pretty bad for what I ended up playing against in the top 8, and you'll see what goes on, and stay tuned. It's a pretty interesting match. Alright, so thanks for watching this deck tech.